Title: Discover the Magical World of Cinderella Kingdom. Once upon a time, in a bustling city nestled between majestic mountains and golden fields, there lived a young woman named Ella. Unlike the traditional Cinderella, Ella was not confined to a castle or a cottage. She lived in a modest apartment in the heart of the city, where she worked tirelessly at a small cafe called Mountain Brews. Her life was simple but challenging, and she carried herself with a resilience that belied her circumstances. Ella's days at Mountain Brews were filled with the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the lively chatter of customers. Despite the fast-paced rhythm of her job, she found joy in the small moments, like the smile of a regular customer or the satisfaction of crafting the perfect latte art. However, Ella had dreams that extended beyond the cafe. She was an aspiring artist, her small apartment walls adorned with her vibrant paintings of the mountains, fields, and the bustling city she called home. Each piece told a story, blending the beauty of nature with the chaos of urban life. One day, while sketching during her lunch break, a mysterious stranger entered the cafe. Dressed in an understated yet elegant suit, he seemed out of place among the regular patrons. He ordered a simple black coffee, but lingered, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on Ella's sketch pad. "That's incredible work," he said, his voice smooth and sincere. Startled, Ella looked up, meeting his gaze. His name was Adrian, and he introduced himself as a curator from a prestigious art gallery. Adrian saw potential in Ella's art and offered her an opportunity to showcase her work at an upcoming exhibition. But there was a catch. She would need to complete an entirely new collection within a month, inspired by the theme Dreams and Realities. As Ella juggled her demanding cafe job and the pressure of creating her art, she discovered more about herself and her resilience. Along the way, she faced challenges, self-doubt, the judgment of others, and even the complexities of her growing friendship with Adrian. Ella's parents had passed away when she was a teenager, leaving her in the care of her stepmother, Miranda, and two stepsisters, Zara and Bianca. Miranda was a socialite, obsessed with climbing the city's elite circles, while Zara and Bianca were her carbon copies, always flaunting the latest trends and attending glamorous parties. Ella, on the other hand, found solace in her work and the quiet beauty of the mountains and fields surrounding the city. Ella's relationship with her stepfamily was distant at best and oppressive at worst. Miranda, ever the opportunist, saw Ella as little more than an unpaid assistant. She often demanded Ella run errands, organize events, and even clean up after Zara and Bianca's extravagant soirees. Despite this, Ella remained kind-hearted, her spirit unbroken by their constant criticism and neglect. Zara and Bianca, though outwardly glamorous, were deeply insecure. They resented Ella's natural beauty and artistic talent, which shone even without designer clothes or expensive makeup. While they mocked her modest lifestyle, they couldn't ignore the quiet strength she exuded, a strength that only fueled their jealousy. One evening, the city buzzed with excitement over the annual Winter Gala, a prestigious event attended by the city's most influential figures. Miranda, Zara, and Bianca were ecstatic, each vying to outshine the other. Ella, of course, was tasked with preparing their outfits and ensuring they looked flawless for the night. As she worked late into the evening, stitching sequins and steaming gowns, she overheard Miranda on the phone. "Yes, Adrian will be there," Miranda said, her tone dripping with ambition. It's the perfect chance to introduce Zara and Bianca to someone of his caliber. Ella's heart sank. Adrian, the kind curator who had given her a glimpse of hope, would be at the gala. She had no invitation, no gown, and no way to attend. But fate had other plans. As she sat alone in the cafe after closing, tears of frustration threatening to spill, an elderly woman entered. She wore a cloak dusted with snow and carried an air of mystery. "Why the tears, my dear?" she asked, her voice warm and soothing. Ella hesitated, but eventually poured out her heart. The woman listened intently, then smiled. "You have a good soul, Ella, and those who shine from within deserve a chance to be seen." With a wave of her hand, the woman transformed Ella's simple work uniform into a breathtaking gown, shimmering like moonlight on snow. Her worn sneakers became delicate heels, and a silver pendant around her neck glowed softly. "This will guide you," the woman said, placing a delicate mask in Ella's hands. "But remember, the magic will fade by midnight." Despite her stepfamily's disdain, Ella's spirit remained unbroken. She had a sharp wit and a kind heart, which endeared her to the regulars at Mountain Brews. One of those regulars was a charming young man named Alex, who worked as an urban planner for the city. Alex was drawn to Ella's warmth and quick humor, often lingering longer than necessary over his coffee. Ella's relationship with her stepfamily was distant at best and oppressive at worst. Miranda, ever the opportunist, saw Ella as little more than an unpaid assistant. She often demanded Ella run errands, organize events, and even clean up after Zara and Bianca's extravagant soirees. Despite this, Ella remained kind-hearted, her spirit unbroken by their constant criticism and neglect. Zara and Bianca, though outwardly glamorous, were deeply insecure. They resented Ella's natural beauty and artistic talent, which shone even without designer clothes or expensive makeup. While they mocked her modest lifestyle, they couldn't ignore the quiet strength she exuded, a strength that only fueled their jealousy. One evening, the city buzzed with excitement over the annual Winter Gala, a prestigious event attended by the city's most influential figures. Miranda, Zara, and Bianca were ecstatic, each vying to outshine the other. Ella, of course, was tasked with preparing their outfits and ensuring they looked flawless for the night. As she worked late into the evening, stitching sequins and steaming gowns, she overheard Miranda on the phone. "Yes, Adrian will be there," Miranda said, her tone dripping with ambition. "It's the perfect chance to introduce Zara and Bianca to someone of his caliber." Ella's heart sank. Adrian, the kind curator who had given her a glimpse of hope, would be at the gala. She had no invitation, no gown, and no way to attend. But fate had other plans. As she sat alone in the cafe after closing, tears of frustration threatening to spill, an elderly woman entered. She wore a cloak dusted with snow and carried an air of mystery. "Why the tears, my dear?" she asked, her voice warm and soothing. Ella hesitated, but eventually poured out her heart. The woman listened intently, then smiled. "You have a good soul, Ella, and those who shine from within deserve a chance to be seen." With a wave of her hand, the woman transformed Ella's simple work uniform into a breathtaking gown, shimmering like moonlight on snow. Her worn sneakers became delicate heels, and a silver pendant around her neck glowed softly. "This will guide you," the woman said, placing a delicate mask in Ella's hands. "But remember, the magic will fade by midnight." The grand ball announcement. One day, the city buzzed with excitement as news spread of the mayor's annual gala, a grand ball held in the city's historic hall at the foot of the mountains. This year's theme was A Night of Stars, and the event promised to be the most spectacular yet. The highlight of the evening would be the unveiling of a new urban development plan, spearheaded by Alex, to preserve the city's natural beauty while modernizing its infrastructure. The mayor's annual gala was more than just a social event. It was a celebration of the city's heritage and future. For weeks, the city had been abuzz with anticipation, and the theme, A Night of Stars, captured the imagination of everyone. Glittering invitations embossed with golden constellations were sent to the city's elite, including Miranda, Zara, and Bianca. Ella, of course, was not invited. Her stepmother dismissed the idea with a scoff. "This is no place for someone like you," Miranda had said, tossing the invitation aside. "You wouldn't understand the importance of such an event." What Miranda didn't know was that Ella was deeply inspired by the theme of the gala. Late at night, after her cafe shifts, she sketched ideas for art pieces, reflecting the harmony between the stars above and the city below. These sketches, filled with bold strokes and intricate details, captured the very essence of what Alex, the visionary behind the urban development plan, hoped to achieve. The night of the gala arrived, and the city's historic hall was transformed into a celestial wonderland. Twinkling lights draped the grand chandeliers, and the walls were adorned with projections of constellations. Guests arrived in dazzling attire, their laughter and conversation filling the air. Alex, the architect of the city's future, was a figure of quiet charisma. His passion for balancing progress with preservation had earned him admiration across the city. But tonight, he felt a strange restlessness, as though something or someone was missing. Meanwhile, Ella sat in her tiny apartment, gazing out at the stars. She longed to be part of the gala, not for the glamour but for the chance to see her city's future unfold. Just as she resigned herself to another quiet evening, the mysterious elderly woman appeared once more. "You've dreamed long enough, Ella," she said, with a knowing smile. "It's time for the world to see you." With a wave of her hand, Ella's modest dress transformed into a gown that shimmered like the night sky, with tiny jewels that sparkled like stars. Her sketches, which she clutched tightly, were bound into a beautiful portfolio. "Go," the woman said, "but remember, this magic fades at midnight." Ella ligó a la gala, su corazón latiendo. The room fell silent as she entered, her presence commanding attention. Even Miranda and her daughters, who had spent hours perfecting their looks, couldn't hide their shock. As Ella stepped into the grand hall, her breathtaking gown and confident presence turned heads. The soft hum of conversation quieted, and for a moment, all eyes were on her. Miranda and her daughters froze in disbelief, their carefully crafted facades faltering as they recognized the radiant figure before them. Zara whispered harshly, "Is that Ella?" "It can't be," Bianca hissed, though her expression betrayed her doubt. Miranda, ever calculating, quickly composed herself. She smirked, determined to uncover how Ella had managed to infiltrate the city's most exclusive event. Meanwhile, Alex noticed the commotion and turned to see Ella. He was struck by the elegance of her gown, but what truly captivated him was the determination in her eyes. As she moved through the crowd, she clutched a portfolio under her arm, her purpose clear. Ella approached the display area, where the urban development plan was showcased. The intricate models and digital renderings of the city's future were impressive, but something was missing. A soul, a story. She hesitated for a moment, then boldly stepped forward, placing her portfolio next to the exhibit. "Excuse me," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. "I'd like to contribute something to this vision." Alex stepped closer, intrigued. "And what might that be?" Ella abrió su portfolio, revelando sus bocetos. They depicted the city's mountains and fields, blending seamlessly with urban life, illuminated by constellations. Each piece told a story of harmony and balance, capturing the spirit of the theme, A Night of Stars. The room gathered around, murmuring in awe. Alex studied her work intently, his admiration evident. "These are incredible," he said, his voice sincere. "You've captured exactly what I've been trying to express. May I ask your name?" "Ella," she replied, her cheeks flushing. Before Alex could say more, Miranda interjected, her voice dripping with false charm. "Ella, darling, I had no idea you were so talented. Why didn't you show us this sooner?" Zara and Bianca, desperate to regain attention, chimed in with half-hearted compliments. Ella stood tall, her confidence unwavering. "Because you never asked," she said simply. As the clock neared midnight, Alex invited Ella to discuss her work further, promising to feature her art in the development project. But Ella, mindful of the time, politely declined, saying, "I'll be in touch. For now, I think the stars are calling me home." Ella left the gala just as the first chime of midnight rang, her gown fading into her simple dress. But she carried something far more valuable than magic, a newfound sense of self-worth and the knowledge that her art had touched others. Ella's stepmother and stepsisters were ecstatic. They saw the gala as their chance to secure influential connections and perhaps even catch Alex's eye. Miranda spared no expense in preparing extravagant gowns for Zara and Bianca, leaving Ella to fend for herself. A magical encounter. On the night of the gala, Ella watched her stepfamily leave in their limousine, her heart heavy with longing. She had always dreamed of attending the gala, not for the glamour, but to witness the beauty of the city she loved celebrated under the stars. Just as she resigned herself to another lonely evening, a soft knock at her window startled her. It was an elderly woman with twinkling eyes and a mischievous smile. "I'm your fairy godmother, dear," she said, stepping into the room. Ella blinked in disbelief as the woman waved a wand-like stick. "Let's get you to that ball." With a flick of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed Ella's simple outfit into a stunning gown of shimmering silver and gold, reminiscent of the city lights. Her worn sneakers turned into elegant heels, and a delicate mask appeared in her hands. "Now remember," the fairy godmother warned, "the magic will fade at midnight." The gala Ella arrived at the gala in a sparkling carriage, a repurposed food truck that gleamed like new. As she stepped into the hall, heads turned. Ella's beauty and poise captivated everyone, including Alex, who was immediately drawn to her. They shared a dance, their laughter echoing through the grand hall. Ella's intelligence and passion for the city amazed Alex, and he found himself falling for her. The shimmering food truck turned carriage was parked just outside the grand hall, its polished chrome reflecting the twinkling lights of the city. Ella stepped out gracefully, her gown flowing like liquid starlight. As she entered the hall, The crowd seemed to part for her, drawn to her magnetic presence. Alex, who had been politely entertaining guests, caught sight of Ella and froze mid-sentence. Something about her felt different, authentic, unpretentious, yet undeniably radiant. He excused himself and approached her, his curiosity piqued. "Good evening," he said, offering his hand. "May I have this dance?" Ella hesitated, surprised by his directness, but his warm smile put her at ease. She placed her hand in his, and they moved to the center of the room. The orchestra began a waltz, and the two swayed effortlessly, their steps in perfect harmony. As they danced, Alex asked, "You seem familiar. Have we met before?" Ella sonrió, pero eligió sus palabras con cuidado. "Perhaps in another life. Or maybe you've seen my work around the city." Intrigued, Alex pressed further. "Your work? What do you do?" "I'm an artist," Ella replied, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. "I create pieces inspired by the city, the way its natural beauty and urban life coexist." Alex's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what tonight's development plan is about. You must show me your work." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, and Alex found himself captivated not just by Ella's beauty, but by her intellect and passion. She spoke with a deep understanding of the city's soul, her words painting vivid pictures of her vision. Meanwhile, Miranda, Zara, and Bianca watched from the sidelines, seething with envy. Zara muttered, "Who does she think she is, stealing all the attention?" Bianca added, "She's probably just pretending to be someone she's not." Miranda, however, was more calculating. She recognized the connection forming between Ella and Alex, and saw an opportunity to interfere. As the clock neared midnight, Ella felt a pang of anxiety. She knew the magic that brought her here would soon fade. Reluctantly, she pulled away from Alex, saying, "Thank you for the dance. I must go now." "Wait," Alex called after her, but Ella was already weaving through the crowd. In her haste, she dropped a small sketchbook she had tucked into her gown, a collection of her most personal and heartfelt drawings. Alex picked it up, flipping through its pages. Each sketch told a story, and he knew he had to find her again. Meanwhile, Zara and Bianca, oblivious to Ella's identity, tried unsuccessfully to monopolize Alex's attention. Miranda, suspicious of the mysterious woman's connection to Alex, began scheming to unmask her. The midnight dash. As the clock neared midnight, Ella felt the magic fading. She excused herself and hurried out of the hall, leaving Alex bewildered. In her haste, she dropped her mask, which Alex picked up as a clue to her identity. Ella's heart raced as she stepped out of the grand hall, her shimmering gown already losing its ethereal glow. The once brilliant jewels on her dress dimmed, and her delicate heels began to feel like her worn sneakers. She hurried toward the food truck-turned-carriage, her mind a whirlwind of emotions, exhilaration, fear, and a twinge of regret for leaving Alex without an explanation. Inside the hall, Alex stood frozen, the intricate mask Ella had dropped clutched in his hand. It was a work of art in itself, adorned with delicate silver filigree and tiny star-like embellishments. He turned it over, noticing a faint inscription on the inside, "For the dreamer who dares." "She didn't even tell me her name," Alex murmured to himself, his mind replaying their dance and conversation. The connection they had felt real, unlike anything he had experienced before. Determined not to let her slip away, he resolved to find her. The next morning, the city was buzzing with tales of the mysterious woman who had enchanted everyone at the gala. Miranda, Zara, and Bianca were livid, their own attempts to capture Alex's attention overshadowed by Ella's presence. "Who does she think she is?" Bianca fumed, pacing the living room. "Whoever she is, she won't get far," Miranda said with a sly smile. "We'll find a way to make sure she stays in her place." Meanwhile, Ella returned to her modest apartment. The magic fully faded. The shimmering gown was now her cafe uniform, and the sparkling carriage was once again a humble food truck parked on the street. But she held on to the memory of the gala, her conversation with Alex, and the realization that her art had the power to inspire. Alex, true to his word, began his search. He placed an announcement in the city's newspaper and social media, inviting the mysterious woman to meet him at Mountain Brews, a local cafe he frequented. He carried the mask with him everywhere, hoping it would lead him to her. Ella saw the announcement while serving coffee at the cafe. Her heart skipped a beat when she realized Alex was sitting at one of the corner tables, the mask resting on the table in front of him. She debated whether to approach him, torn between fear and hope. The search. Determined to find the woman who had stolen his heart, Alex launched a citywide search. He visited every cafe, park, and neighborhood, holding up the mask and asking if anyone recognized it. When he arrived at Mountain Brews, Ella's heart raced. She tried to avoid him, but Alex's persistence paid off. Alex stepped into Mountain Brews, the mask in his hand, catching the sunlight streaming through the windows. The cafe was bustling with its usual morning crowd, but his presence seemed to command attention. Conversations hushed as patrons recognized him, the architect of the city's future, and wondered why he was there. Ella, busy behind the counter, felt her heart hammering in her chest. She had seen Alex through the window as he approached, and now he was standing just a few feet away. She kept her head down, hoping to blend into the background, but her nerves betrayed her. "Excuse me," Alex said, his voice cutting through the ambient noise. "I'm looking for someone." He held up the mask, its intricate design sparkling under the cafe lights. "This belongs to a woman I met at the mayor's gala. She left before I could learn her name. Does anyone recognize it?" Ella se congeló, sus manos temblando, mientras frota leche para un latte. The room was silent, and she could feel the weight of curious eyes. Miranda, Zara, and Bianca, who had coincidentally stopped by for their morning lattes, exchanged knowing glances. "Well, isn't this interesting?" Miranda said, stepping forward with a saccharine smile. "My daughters and I attended the gala, Mr. Alex. Perhaps you're looking for one of them?" Zara and Bianca immediately chimed in, each claiming to be the mysterious woman. "It was such a magical evening," Zara said, batting her lashes. "I remember leaving my mask behind," Bianca added, her voice dripping with false sincerity. Alex studied them for a moment, his brow furrowed. "I'm sorry, but neither of you seem like her." Before Miranda could protest, a small clatter drew Alex's attention. Ella had accidentally knocked over a spoon in her flustered state. Their eyes met, and recognition dawned on Alex's face. "It's you," he said, his voice soft but certain. Ella's cheeks flushed, and she instinctively took a step back. I'm sorry," she stammered. "I didn't mean to cause any trouble." "You're not causing trouble," Alex said, stepping closer. "You're the one I've been searching for." The cafe erupted in murmurs, and Miranda's face twisted in disbelief. Zara and Bianca were too stunned to speak. Ella hesitated, glancing at her stepfamily, then back at Alex. "I didn't think you'd remember me," she admitted. "How could I forget Alex replied, holding up the mask. You left this behind, but more importantly, you left an impression I couldn't ignore. Your art, your vision. It's everything I've been looking for. Ella stood frozen for a moment, her mind racing. Alex's words were both a dream and a challenge. She had never imagined someone like him, successful, admired, would seek her out. Her heart fluttered, but doubt crept in. She glanced at her stepfamily, who were now watching the exchange with a mixture of shock and disdain. I didn't expect you to find me, Ella finally said, her voice trembling slightly. I'm just a barista here. I don't belong in your world. Alex shook his head, stepping closer to her. Ella, you belong in this world. Your art, your perspective, it's unique. It's what the city needs. He paused, searching her face. And I need you. I don't want to just talk about the city's future. I want to build it with you, together. Ella's breath caught in her throat. She had always dreamed of her art being seen, but the idea of stepping into the spotlight, of being with someone like Alex, felt overwhelming. Her stepfamily's judgment, especially Miranda's, loomed large in her mind. Miranda, unable to stay silent any longer, stepped forward, her voice laced with venom. Ella, don't be foolish. You're not some artist. You're just a girl who works here. You have no place in his world. Zara and Bianca nodded in agreement, their eyes narrowed. You'll ruin everything, Ella, Zara added, her voice dripping with spite. You'll embarrass him. Ella's heart sank at their words. She had always felt like an outsider in her own family, and now, it seemed, they were trying to keep her in that place. But something inside her stirred, something stronger than their cruelty. She had spent too long hiding her dreams, too long letting them define her as less than. She wasn't going to let them control her anymore. Turning to Alex, she took a deep breath. I'm not perfect. I don't have the life you think I should. But I know what I want, and I want to be true to myself. Alex smiled, his eyes soft with understanding. That's all I want too, just you, as you are. Ella turned to face her stepfamily one last time, her shoulders squared. I don't need your approval. I'm going to pursue my dreams. And if you can't support that, then I don't need you either. Miranda's face turned red with fury, but Ella stood firm, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Zara and Bianca looked at each other, unsure how to react, their usual arrogance crumbling in the face of Ella's newfound strength. Alex reached out, gently taking Ella's hand. Let's build the future together, Ella. The city, your art, and everything in between. As they walked out of the cafe together, the weight of the world seemed to lift from Ella's shoulders. She had made her choice. No longer defined by her past or her stepfamily's expectations, she was ready to step into the life she had always dreamed of, one where she could be herself unapologetically. It's you, he said, recognizing her eyes and smile. Ella confessed everything, fearing rejection, but Alex only admired her more for her honesty and strength. A happy ending. With Alex's support, Ella pursued her dream of becoming an urban designer, contributing her ideas to the city's development. The couple worked together to preserve the mountains and fields, while enhancing the city's charm. Ella's stepmother and stepsisters, humbled by her success, eventually reconciled with her. Ella and Alex's love story became a symbol of hope and resilience for the city. They married in a beautiful ceremony overlooking the mountains and fields, surrounded by friends and family. And so, under the stars that had witnessed their journey, they lived happily ever after, Alex's and Ella say goodbye to everyone at the end.
The Stories book is a captivating collection of tales that traverse diverse genres and emotions, spanning the realms of fantasy, science fiction, romance, and mystery. Each narrative is a journey into the unexpected, weaving intricate plots and compelling characters. With a skillful blend of vivid imagery and thought-provoking themes, this anthology invites readers to explore the depths of imagination and discover the universal threads that connect us all. From heartwarming moments to spine, we hope you enjoyed these captivating video stories. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content like this. Thanks for watching, and keep spreading the video story.